Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah for the brothers, Yahweh Shemal Lathah Hashem Yahweh Shai for the sisters. This is the Wednesday night law class of the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under the commanding General Yohana. I'm Priest Officer Shadrach 1000, and we're going to go into tonight, are we safe when lies are spread? And also, can we trust this government when there's so much trust that's amongst the government? You understand? So I see y'all in the chat. Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Rakatah, brother Shalat. What's going on, bro? Okay. So let me go ahead and give y'all my first breakdown here. We're gonna go to Mark, the book of Mark, chapter 3 and verse 25. The book of Mark, chapter 3 and verse 25. And it reads, "And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. If a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand." That's in the Bible. See, that's the most intelligent book that there's a book, the book that you ever gonna need, that you'll ever need in these times. World War III, this Bible right here. You understand? It's the King James Version. I happen to have the King James 1611, which is what you're looking at. It includes the Apocrypha, the complete part of the Bible, the books that they took out. You understand? The ones they didn't want you to acknowledge. They didn't want you to know that the Apocrypha is part of the Bible. You understand? And the King James Version only, that's the closest to the Latin Vulgate, because the Bible was translated in 4 languages. So I just read the chapter, Mark chapter 3 and verse 25. And I'm gonna say it again, and if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Okay, so Shalom says Yahweh Shemal Lathah Hashem Yahweh Shai, Sister Kapah. All right, welcome. So a house divided itself. You see a lot of things going on in the news. If you're watching the news lately, has anybody been watching the news? You'll understand the House of America is definitely divided against itself. You got folks arguing about the Epstein files. You got people resigning in the Department of Homeland Security. You understand? You know, one of the biggest leaders in the Department of Homeland Security resigned. Okay, in a time of war, we're in the stages of World War III. World War III is the last war written in the Holy Bible. You understand? It is critical that everybody unified during war times, but yet and still, you don't see that in America. Why? Because the Most High does not want America to stand. The Most High don't want America to stand. He has allowed all these things to happen. He has made sure that there be discrepancies and dissensions and infighting amongst the Democrats and Republicans, the Department of Homeland Security. You know, you got TSA, you got the TSA walkers, the TSA workers at the airports. They're quitting their jobs. They're quitting their jobs. You see it on the news, and it's like, wow. You understand? There's no stability in America. America is becoming unstabilized, and that's because it's divided against itself. All right, Shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakatah. What's going on, priest? Ashkawar, Ban Yasikar. What's going on, priest? All right, welcome, brother. All right, so you have all of this going on, and America is slowly getting taken apart. It's being picked apart. You're seeing uprisings all over the place. You know, you're seeing all these uprisings and these different things where people are fed up with what's going on around them. They're fed up with what is happening in America. Okay, they're fed up with this government. They're fed up, of course, with Donald Trump. the orange man. You understand? They fed up with him, and he has so much uncertainty going into this war. You know, it's not like the last times and former times. You know, I've seen I've seen part of I was real young, but I've seen parts of the Vietnam War. America lost during the Vietnam War. You understand? They lost, and there's uncertainty going into these things. There's no strategy going into these wars. There's no strategy with Donald Trump. He contradicts himself. Okay? He contradicts himself. All right. Shalom, y'all. Bashem Shabarakatha. Trooper Shakat. Hey, brother. Welcome, man. Good to see you here. Good to see all of y'all here. All right. So, you know, you got all these things going around, and the Lord says a house divided amongst itself cannot stand. Now we go into the Job, the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. Why? Because the book of Job says it clear. Chapter 9, verse 24. It says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. That's Donald Trump. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. They covered our faces. The original faces of Christ was black. Christ was a black man. You understand? And it's great that brothers are waking up. It's great that our nation is waking up. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are waking up and realizing that they are the true Israelites, that we are the true Israelites on this planet, on the planet Earth. All right? Shalom, Yahweh Hashem and Shabarakatha, brother Jeremiah. All right, welcome, mighty man. You understand? So it's prevalent that lies are being spread. It's prevalent that there's no trust in this government. You know, you had that back during the Civil War when they were actually going to war with each other about our slavery. You understand? Lincoln, they say Lincoln freed the slaves, but Lincoln only freed the slaves because he would make it more profitable for him to stay in power, for the North to stay in power. They really didn't give a damn about us. You understand? It wasn't about, oh yeah, I really respect you folks of color, you Negroes, you darkies, you colored people, you black people, all of that. Yeah, no, you did. They didn't. He didn't. You know, you had Woodrow Wilson. They made him as one of the greatest presidents. You understand? One of the greatest presidents, but he was a known racist. And then you got John Wayne, was a known racist. And just recently I saw on the internet, somebody was talking about Elvis. They had a little thing about Elvis saying some things. And I had to put it there. I couldn't hold back. I had to put it there. Elvis was a known racist. Elvis said the only thing a nigga could do for me is shine my shoes. That was Elvis Presley. Yo, Elvis Presley. The one that had that so-called Negro voice. He had a so-called Negro voice because he learned from us from back in the day, way back in the day. I knew that when I was a kid, back in the 70s. Understand? He stole our culture, stole our voice, and went on there and then still said a nigga can't do nothing for me but shine my shoes. You know what I mean? Yet you idolize that. You idolize them. You idolize Woodrow Wilson. You understand? There's a corrupt government, man. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked, as the Bible, as the Lord states. You understand? That's what was going on. All right. Princess Asa, shalom, sis. Yahweh Shemala Lathaba Hashem Yahushai. Anton West, shalom. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatha, brother. Welcome. Welcome, y'all. Okay. Now the question is, when and who stated this is Diva 15, when and who stated this Black Hebrew Israelite religion? First, this is not a religion. We are not religious folks. Understand, religion is for your Christians. Religion is for your Catholics. Religion is for your Muslims. Religion is for your Hare Krishna and your Mormons. And you no, we're not. We follow this. We follow the Bible for real. I know that's shocking information for some of y'all, but guess what? That's the truth. We started way back in 1969 under Abba Bivens. Okay, Abba Bivens. I'm gonna give you as far back as I know at this time. I know it was crowdy and all of that, but Abba Bivens was the first to learn. He learned that from a slave in Florida. That's who started this. A real slave, a cotton picking slave, taught Abba Bivens in Florida in 1969 that he was a Jew, a real Jew, not the fake. All right. That's who started this. Okay. So anyway, I'm just trying to be blunt with it because I'm trying to get on with the title and everything of this class. However, that's how we started. That's why on our shirts and everything, you'll see it might be on mine since 1969. Okay, that's when the Lord saw it fit to put the truth back into the earth. The truth was always here, but the truth was held back because of the corrupt society. See, one of the other reasons is why who's going. I'm gonna give you a blatant question. Who's going to Passover this April 4th of 2026? I know I'm going to be there. I know my brothers and sisters going to be there in the chat. Understand? But what about the rest of the Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians who are ordered by the Most High God, Yahweh, to attend Passover throughout your generations? Understand? To keep the feasts. See, that's not religion. They don't keep the feasts of the Lord. They want to celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Father's Day, their own damn birthdays, all those things. And it's not cool. Okay? So we need to get that straight as well. That's who started. He learned from a slave. Abba Bivens learned from a slave from our school, which, by the way, is the original school, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. And he went upstate to New York and taught in Harlem until he died. That's how much this truth meant to that man. That's why this school holds my utmost respect. That's why we are the only pedigree. Understand? You got a lot of groups going around saying they Hebrew Israelites and all this, that, another, and the other. GMS, you know, I call them the Green Lantern folks, and them green shirts, the purple dudes. All them folks trying to say that they got the truth. No, that's not the truth. The truth is right here in this school. Follow our classes and stay in school. Understand? And learn something. Learn more about your culture because they stole your culture. Okay? Now, let's get on with the classes. Now, this is the thing. This exactly, Trooper Shakat. The Lord started this school. Exactly. To make it really, you know, to bring it right, drive it right home to the point. The Lord started this school. Okay? That's what happened. Because they stole our language. They never taught us our real language. You say you from Africa. Africa is not even the name of that continent. You say you from Africa, but you didn't read the book from Babylon and Timbuktu that stated that in Israel, the Jews were sacked by the Romans, and the Romans were in hot pursuit of the Jews, and they fled from Israel and ran into Africa. That's why they were wearing dashikis and got them beads, and they got those, those kufis and them hats and all those things. That's other people's cultures. And if you read the Bible and understand that Israel was always looking at other cultures. They always wanted to be this culture. They wanted to be a Arab, so they went into Islam. They wanted to be a Hare Krishna. They went into Hare Krishnaism. They wanted to be a Jehovah Witness. They be the whole Jehovah Witnesses. They wanted to be a Zoroastrian. They went to Zoroastrian and Zastra and all of that. They went and did that. They wanted to do the Namyo Renke thing. Y'all watched that movie with Ike and Tina Turner. Tina Turner, you know, instead of following God's law, statutes, and commandments, that's exactly why you had to ask the question, sis, because you don't know who you are. I'm gonna go into I'll give you another little point here, another part. Let's go to the book of Isaiah. I believe that's chapter 1. Yeah, Isaiah in the first chapter tells you this is the fate of our people. All right, let's go down to verse 3. It says, the ox knows his master. Ox is a big, dumb animal. If you know what an ox is a big dummy, but he's strong as hell. But he knows his master. And the ass, and I'm not talking about your body part, I'm talking about a donkey, because that's what it really is. And the ass, his master's crib. The ass knows his master's crib. If you drop him in the middle of the road, he may lay there for a minute and be stubborn as hell, but he gonna get up after a while and go right back to his master's crib. Okay? But Israel, understand, Jacob's children. That's who we are. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have one father. His name was Jacob, and 4 mothers. That's why it's Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. But we're all brothers. We have the same father. All right. But Israel, remember Jacob's name was changed to Israel, doth not know. That's why he had to ask the question, who started this and what's going on? And yes, this school is here. What we do, we're not trying to hold that against folks, but we're trying to give you back. We not just trying, we are giving you back your culture. Giving your back your culture. As you hear me speak Hebrew when I address the priests and the troopers in this school and the sisters in this school. When I started this class, I spoke ancient Hebrew. When I say shalom, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatah. You understand? That's what the language that was taken from us. That's the language that was taken from us, stolen from us. The culture that was stolen from us. The shield that was stolen from us. You understand? That's what this is about. Okay, let me get back into this. So we have a lot of dissension and a lot of people really, they're tired of this government. They're tired of these politicians and these so-called homeland security experts and the people who run the TSA. Okay. Now, the thing is, our nation has to separate itself from these dissensions and from these lies. We need to separate ourselves from these lies. You understand? When Christ was here, he spoke this and he said this to the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and all of the oppressors of that time and even of this time, because the ones of this time were the children of those who were oppressing Christ. His greatest enemies was the Sadducees and Pharisees and the so-called white man. You understand? Yeah, the so-called white man. All right. Understand? His ancient name in the Bible was Esau, and it still is Esau because Esau is his father, just like Jacob is our fathers as we Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Okay. Now, it says, but Israel doth not know. Israel don't know who they are. You don't know who you are. That's why it now is a great awakening. Unless you've been under a rock, you've been noticing there's a lot of folks saying and that they're Hebrew Israelites. And to tell you the utmost truth, they got that from our school. We're the original school. General Yohana was was serving in his time under the 7 heads after Abba Bivens came to New York and raised up them 7 brothers. Understand? And raised them up, and they headed this school off. High priest Yeshaya, all right, priest Lahab, priest Kazak, understand that. So these are the reasons our people don't know who they are. My people doth not consider. People, you don't consider that you a Jew. Most people I talk to when I'm fishing, when I'm out there in the world, in the community, and I talk to a brother on the street, I say, man, did you ever think that you was from, that you're a real Jew? That you're a Jew? That you're Jewish? Not Jewish, but that you are a Jew. Because anything ish is like. They have to call themselves Jewish. We are the Jews. The Hebrew language speaks the Jews. Jew is Yahwadah. as my pedigree when I go to class. I state my pedigree. When I go in, I'm Officer Shadrach Ban Yahawada Ban Yashra'ala, son of Judah, son of Israel. That's who I am. And all of our brothers from all 12 tribes in our school state their name and registry the same way I just did when they're on our holy days. Understand? We know the Hebrew here. We teach the Hebrew here. We speak the Hebrew here. You understand? That's what that is. Give me 1 minute. Give me 1 second. Hello? Oh, no. I'm doing class. Call me back in an hour and a half. All right. So, you saying our leader, somebody said our founder is just dead. Christ rose from the dead. And our founder, we don't say that our founder is Christ. That's a knucklehead statement. We know that our founder is not Christ. His name is Abba Bivens. All right. I said Bivens. Bivens is a slave name. Understand? Understand that. You're amazed because you're unlearned. You're amazed because you're unlearned. You haven't cracked a book in ages. You don't know what the Latin Vulgate is. You don't know what from Babylon to Timbuktu is. You haven't read. You don't even know you're not even concerned with the Israelites. What's going on with the Israelites? Okay. And yes, we know about Judgment Day. Crazy. I'm not going to keep addressing all of that because that's some nonsense over there in the chat. So anyway, the ox knows his master. The ass knows his master's crib. That's the ox and the two dumbest animals, strongest animals. They know who their master is. They know where their master crib is. But Israel doth not know, just like in the chat, do not know and not even consider. Haven't read no books. Come on with the books. Where you at? Talk about a G. No, I'm a priest. Understand? That's the dead man. The dead man was a G. The priest right here. I'm priest 1000. All right. Now, that's right. I'm glad we going. That's right. Damn right. I'm glad we going. Here we go again. Because we're going to teach this truth back after back, time after time, until you get it written in your head. Understand? Until Christ comes back, we're going to teach this truth. So here we go again. All right. So now let's go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 12. I believe it's Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 12. Understand? See this foundation and all these things going, they got the Democrats questioning themselves and coming before big committees and statements and talking about did they know did they know that this oil and all these things was going to happen and with this war going to cut the oil off and all of that. That's all written in the book of Revelation. It's a war of oil. This is a war that's actually the war of wars because Christ is going to come back. And for all of you that's still running with this world, which I see in the chat, hearing all what I'm hearing in the chat, man, you're gonna be unalive with the rest of them. You're gonna be unalive with your slave master. You're gonna be unalive with your oppressor because you did not follow the laws, statutes, and commandments, and you came up against the school. Believe me, the Lord is watching. The Lord sent his angels right here, right now, when I'm sitting here. And they're recording what you said in the chat. Understand? And they're recording what I say. No one is beyond reproof of the Most High God, Yahweh. All right? The book of Nineveh. See, and that's another problem. You got the new international version of the Bible, man. Y'all make me laugh. That is not the closest translation to the Latin Vulgate. Look up the Latin Vulgate, Mr. Handle It. Go handle that. Go handle the Latin Vulgate. so that you can understand when the Bible was written, how it was written, because it was first written in Hebrew. It was second written in Koine Greek. Koine means common Greek. And then it was third written in Latin, which is the Latin Vulgate. Then it was translated to English, which the closest version of all that was what I bring up in the beginning, the King James Version 1911, not the damn Nineveh. You reading the Gideon. They give you the Gideon book in jail. They give you that little Gideon book when you go to jail. And the Mormons teach that blacks should be slaves. Man, you know it's not. You know it's not, Mr. Handle. The Dead Sea Scrolls. I have the book right here. Or have I heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls? Are you serious? We're not playing over here, man. When you gonna realize that? Did I hear the Dead Sea Scrolls? You talk about this book? Dead Sea Scrolls, Negro. If you a Negro at all. Yeah, I heard of it. And yeah, by the way, I have read it as well. I don't just hear of books, I read them. Man, you are unlearned. Unlearned. Understand, man. You can't play with God's people like that. The Lord gave us a commission to be ordained to be priests. We cannot play with our people. I love my people, so I have to study. Let's look this up. Let's look this up. I'm gonna look it up just for Mr. Handle again and give it, and I'm gonna get up off this again. I keep trying to get up off this and teach this class, but see, sometimes some folks just as hard-headed and just want to sit up there and act like they know something and don't know squat. All right. We're going to go to, let me get this. We're going to go to 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 2. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. All right. 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. And I hope you listening, Mr. Handle. I mean, study to show thyself approved. Study to show thyself approved. Okay? Unto God, a workman needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of the truth. Okay? Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah, you talk about them little jars that they found in the Dead Sea. The Dead Sea, by the way, is made up of of salt. That's why if you put a piece of iron in the Dead Sea, it will float. That's how much salt and sodium is in the Dead Sea. All right? You already know. You don't know squat. That's why you're asking all these questions. You're confused. Okay? All right. Okay, much respect. Let's have some respect. Just sit back and let me milk this cow. Now, let's go to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 12. I believe that's what it is. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 12. This is your America. This is your America. Woe. The word woe means destruction. The word woe means destruction. It says, woe to him that buildeth a town with blood. What was America built with? Transatlantic slavery, the Trail of Tears, the Zook suits that was the oppressed, the Hispanic brothers depressed, the hanging of the Mexicans. You understand? That's what's going on. All right. So this nation was built on blood. So the Lord said, woe. The word woe means destruction. And woe also means war. We're in the third woe right now. We're in World War III right now. You understand? It's no time to be playing with people's understanding and knowledge. It's no time for all of this back chatting and all this stuff. Step in class, stay in class, ask the question, that's fine. But know what you're talking about also. Try to know what you're talking about. Okay? Because we used to this. We do this. This is our pedigree. We go to camp and we argue with everybody. And everybody, we show them up. ISUPK is 1,000,000 to 0. We win all of that. Understand that. Go to Cross the Line Radio. Check out mighty Captain Tazaryat on Cross the Line Radio. I believe he got his own channel now, of course, and Captain Katazar. All right. Go up there. Go to the Round Table of Truth for Captain Mawaquad and listen to what we're talking about, what we're doing here. All right. So, woe unto a town that's built with blood. This place was built with blood. It's no wonder that they're arguing. It's no wonder that they're in derision and they're in mistrust. And they're finding all these pedophiles and all this sexual deviancy that's going on. Is it any wonder? You built the land on blood. You went there and got them little girls from the Epstein files. You understand? You found all that stuff. You did the Oliver North thing. When Oliver North, way back in the 80s, was selling arms, guns from the Middle East. And them guns landed in the ghetto. Okay? Well, Mr. Handel, you got to learn Hebrew. We don't say Yisrael. It's not Yisrael. It's called Yash. Our nation is Yashra'Allah. That's Israel. I know the ancient Hebrew. You don't know ancient Hebrew. You got that from, they sound like a fake group right there, them Yisraelites. Nonsense, man. Wake up. Wake up, learn something. Come up in here and get cut up like that. Don't get cut up like that. So that's what's going on with that. Now, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Understand. Let's go to I'm gonna go to Jeremiah. You know, destruction is destruction. Destruction is destruction. Okay. You know, and just like where you're learning from, Mr. Handel, it's like this. This is Jeremiah 23 and 25. I have heard what the prophets said that prophesy lies in my name, saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. A lot of prophets saying, I have dreamed, I have dreamed. Okay? Prophesying lies. You understand? Oh, he's white? Oh, no wonder. No wonder. I don't know why you got Mr. Handle It. He must love black so much. That's why he on our line. You know, they frenzy in all our stuff because they know the devil know that the time is short. Thank you, Shalat. The water, brother. Understand that. Yisrael. No wonder. Talking all that nonsense. You Esau. So Esau, let's go to Esau. Matter of fact, let's go to the book of Obadiah. Let me tell you about yourself. I'm going to tell you about yourself. And there's a reason why your nation is falling. That's why you on this chat, because you know your time is short. You know your time is short. Most High in Christ, Shalat. All right. Let's do this right here. I'm going to go to verse 10. This is the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 10. Listen up, Mr. Handle It. You know, there's a devil handle it. The Handle It devil. That's your new name, just like the McBurglar. All right. And you're a McBurglar too, by the way. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob. Who is Jacob? Jacob is the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's who we are as Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians. We are Jacob. We are Israel. Understand? Let's say this for the McBurglar over there. All right. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. Shame is going to cover you, Mr. Handle It, and your people. And it's going to be, and I'm gonna get this other scripture for you and for all of y'all to understand it. All right. And thou shalt be cut off forever. You're never going to rule this world again, Mr. YT man. You'll never run this earth again. You'll never, ever run it again. You could feel it. You trembling at your boots. That's why you over here. You know what I mean? Trembling in your boots. All right. In the day that thou stoodest on this verse 11, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day the strangers carried away captive his forces, it carried away captive our forces. Understand? In that day, this is what you did. Listen up real good, Mr. Hanley. All right. Carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem. They were betting amongst us. They were betting against us. They were betting for all of our substance, our money, our wealth, our land, our temple, the temple of David. You understand? Even thou was one of them. You was one of them, Mr. Hanley. You got that spirit. You got that spirit, boy. We got a real live devil over here. But this is verse 12. We're going to say what you shouldn't have did. But thou should not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day. That brother was us. Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, Mr. Hanley. You shouldn't have looked on us on this day. On the day that he became a stranger, on the day we became a stranger, the day of our downfall, which happened way back at that time in 70 AD, when King Titus, who was a Roman, a white man, and his son Vespasian, the other white man, sacked Jerusalem for the last time. That's in the book of From Babylon to Timbuktu. I'll get another book for you if you want. All right. That's when they carried away captive. They carried us away captive also in Egypt. All right. Thou should not have looked on the day of thy brother in the day that he became a stranger. Neither should thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah. Yeah. My ancestors. All right. In the day of their destruction. Because you was happy in the day of our destruction. That was even before the transatlantic slave trade. You was a bloodthirsty liar. All right. In the day of their destruction, neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. You speak so proud. You are so proud. I feel like I'm in camp, y'all. All the brothers and sisters in the chat, I feel like I'm in camp today. All right. You shouldn't have spoke. You are a proud bastard. That's who you are. Okay. Let me see. Let me see where we at now. Let's go up to verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. Your mind deceived you, handlehead. All right. Your mind has deceived you. The heart is the mind in the Bible. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee. Thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock. Where's the clefts of the rock? The clefts of the rock is in the caves where you belong. The caves where you came out of. Damn, look at the cave right here. The cave, okay, that dwelleth in the cleft of the rocks, whose habitation is where you live, whose habitation is high. The rocks are high, and so are those skyscrapers. All right, they're real high. Damn right, Sister Kapaz. I hear what you said right there. TWM, TD. Even though you need some more, there's a few more acronyms in there, but I know exactly what you're saying, sister. You're correct. I don't realize you know anything. I don't recognize none of your knowledge, handlehead. I don't recognize none of it. No, none. I'm just addressing what you say because you coming up in here trying to run something, and the only thing you're doing is running your mouth. All right. Whose habitation is high. The pride of thy heart hath deceived thee. This is the third verse. Has deceived thee. Thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, who said in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? Well, guess what? You're seeing it right now. Switch on CNN. Go to Fox News. You know, go to WNBC, WABC. Go to any of the W's. All right. You seeing your nation is falling down. Oh, now, bro, you whatever you are, you sound like the devil. And if you Puerto Rican, you that's a shame because you're an Israelite. If you're Israelite, if you Puerto Rican, you're Israelite, and that's a damn shame because you just like what I read in the book of Isaiah. You need to roll back to Isaiah. My people know if not, you don't know nothing. That's why I called you unlearned from the beginning because I already knew your spirit. I already knew your spirit. And I don't got no special capabilities and all that. But when you came up here, your spirit said that you of this world. You need to come out of this world. Come out of her, my people. Do not partake in her sins. Go read the book of Revelation. It'll tell you that. You understand? You standing for Babylon, the daughter of Babylon, which is America, who ought to be destroyed. And it's being destroyed. Trump. It's being destroyed, MAGA. See, we don't vote in this school. Our king is Christ. Christ is our king. We don't vote. I don't vote. I'm not commanded to vote. I follow the law, statutes, and commandments. And then you rolled up here with all this religion stuff. This ain't no religious gathering. Go to Catholic school. Probably go to Catholic school anyway. Go back over there because that's where you want to go. All right. Well, you sounded like a white man. That's why we said you's white. That's why we said it, because you came out like your oppressor, which it is funny because most of Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians do take on our oppressors, the YT man, his ways. You know, they take on his ways and follow his stuff and be just like him and go voting and go ahead and because the YT man told you as a Hispanic that you could put I'm Caucasian on my application, you think that's something, but you just a slave. You're a slave, and you're being a coon. Don't be no coon. Don't be no coon because you acting like a coon. You know, you sounding like a coon. You sound like our oppressor, man. That's why you was called what you sound. Okay, understand that. So understand that. That's Esau. All the men of thy confederacy has brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee has deceived thee. They deceiving the hell out of Trump because watch, they gonna throw a whole monkey wrench in the game again. They deceived the YT man. Okay, and that's why this book is so true. That is why this Bible is so true. That is why there's so much dissension and all this infighting, this political infighting. You can't even go on the Facebook, YouTube, Scoops, Instagram, and all that without seeing they turn it into a political thing. Well, that's what the Democrats do. That's what the Republicans do. That's what the liberals do. That's what the Democrats. Man, come on. Come on. You voted for them folks, man. So you get what you put out. You put that out. That's what you get. You understand? Yeah, you okay now. Let's go to I wanted to get our oppressor to put y'all up on some game with all of this stuff going on. This is another thing. Okay. So being like your oppressor, man, you're gonna burn in that lake of fire. That's gonna be shame. That's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be a lot of weeping and gnashing of teeth once it happens, because in the end time, it's gonna be just like the book of Noah. When Noah made that ark, they laughed at him. You laughing and you mocking the school. And that's what's gonna happen to you. Because when them waters rose, they started scraping up against the ark. Let me in! Weeping and gnashing of teeth. Let me in, I was wrong. That's what's going to happen to you, Handle. All right. That's exactly what's going to happen. to a whole lot of our people. And it's a shame because of 2/3 of Israel is going to be destroyed by the Most High. And the Most High don't want none of us to be destroyed. He don't want the 2/3, and we don't want the 2/3. That's why we got to give you correction. That's why we got to correct you. You need correction. Okay. See, a lot of folks still looking for that white picket fence, and it's not happening. We're going to go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31. The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31. Okay. Let's see if I can find that real quick. Go to the book of Proverbs. Some more understanding. Now, that's a damn shame. The TSA workers got to go home. They got to quit. Okay. They got to quit because they're not getting paid. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 31. Okay. Listen up. Envy thou not the oppressor. The oppressor is your white T man. All right. And choose none of his ways. Do not choose any of his ways. Envy not your oppressor, man. We're not to envy our oppressor, because our oppressor right now is running around like a chicken with his head cut off. That's the case. They talk about put Trump's son on the front line. Yeah, put his long blanky behind on the front line. Let him go on the front line and fight in the wars, like our brothers did in Vietnam, like the Harlem Hellraisers did in 1939. That was the one of the highly decorated and recognized so-called Black Army battalions, Black Army divisions. All right, in World War I, 39, they came through Harlem, and they were called the Harlem. They got the nickname the Harlem Hellraisers. You understand? And they were highly recognized, highly decorated soldiers for this nation, which they shouldn't have did anyway, man. We don't need to fight for this nation. Let Trump's son go do it. Let the white T man and his sons and daughters, let them go off and die and get killed for a change at a large time. We don't got no business in that. All right? We don't have no business in that. Gosh, like, yeah, he playing Fortnite. I see him in the chat. He definitely playing Fortnite right now. Exactly. Man, ridiculous, man. Ridiculous. That's why, they're coming. And you know what it proves, Shalat and Sister Kappa and Brother Jeremiah and Priest Ashkawar, it's proven that we have the truth. It is proven that this is the end times. Just for him playing that Fortnite. and for all the other ones out there. You understand? It's all right there in plain sight. Surely your ways will find you out. Surely. All right. Where was I at? Man? Yeah, I was in 31. Envy thou not the oppressor. Don't envy the oppressor because he got a nice house. He got stocks and bonds and securities for his children, and he got land, and he got all these different cars, these big old giant redneck trucks, and he got all this and all that, clothes and whatever. Envy not him. It's meant for us to go through this. It's meant for us to suffer. God's children is suffering right now. We are suffering in the ghettos and the barrios and on the reservations. Yeah, we're suffering now because we walked away from God. Our ancestors did. But this school right here, This is the school that teaches you the truth, that brings you back to the truth, that brings you to understand and acknowledge that you cannot live without the laws, statutes, and commandments of God that comes from the book of Leviticus. You understand? Go into Leviticus 23 and read these laws, statutes, and commandments and follow them. Understand? It's a damn shame. Take and choose none of his ways. Don't choose your oppressor's ways. Why are you going to choose his ways? You're going to choose the white man's ways? All he is a proud bastard. I was over there back in, let me go back to that book of Obadiah. That book of Obadiah, it's a short book. The book of Obadiah has only one chapter in it. One chapter in the book of Obadiah. Okay? But it says it's so strong against Esau. It's so strong against the white man and his children and his kids. Oh, that's what I was trying to remember. Now I remember it. Now I remember it. That's what I was remembering in pertaining to this. Because if you following this man and all of that, so you say out of your mouth, devil, out of your mouth. That's what I wanted to remember. Understand what's going around comes around. What's going around, come around. That's right, Trooper Shakat. That's right, Shakat. Of course. Let's see. And it's a book in the Bible that says it. Happy states, and I'm paraphrasing right now. Happy shall he be when he dashes his sons against his children's head against the rock. Okay. Let's see. There it is. We're going to go to the book of Psalms 137 and verse 9. The book of Psalms, chapter 137 and verse 9. I'm going to hold off on Obadiah. Book of Psalms 137. Let's see, where am I at? And it reads, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. See, it's going to be happy. Just like he's smiling in this chat. We're going to be happy like that. Because he's going to dash your children's head against the stones. He's going to take them by the feet and swing them and crash their heads against the stones. Because that's what happened in the Trail of Tears to our so-called Native Indian brothers' families, their children. During the Trail of Tears, they took the kids and smashed their heads against the trees. The ones that were crying loud, they dashed their heads against the trees. Well, the Bible says, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. How about that? For all the ignorance and for all of the cooning, all of the name calling and the laughing and the joking and the mocking of the prophets. And that's how you can tell you we're in the truth too, because they always mock us. And we have to remember that they mocked Christ first. First one they mocked was Christ. All right. That's the first one they did. Damn right, Shalat. You know, and Christ said, just remember that they mocked me first. They ridiculed me first. And they killed Christ first. Okay? So happy shall he be when he dasheth thy little ones' heads against the stones. Understand? All of the treaties in this place, America did not keep the treaties with the Native Indians. He broke every treaty. Every treaty. That's why you see in the infighting. That's why you're seeing the Democrats against the Republicans. That's why the Civil War happened. That's why January 6th insurrection, that's why that happened. You understand? It happened for a reason. Nothing on this earth happens without reason. The Lord, without the Lord saying that this should happen. This should happen right now. You understand? So it's important that we understand, man. These end times are coming. Here, follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. I'm gonna see y'all at Passover on April 4th. It's gonna be happy to see y'all again. I'm gonna see y'all again. It ain't not the first time. I'm gonna see y'all again at Passover, man. You understand? It's gonna be a glorious time. All right. Yeah. And what you think and what reality are two different things. What you think in your corrupt and silly head and dirty, unclean head, unlearned head is different from what reality is. Let every man be a liar and let the Lord tell the truth. You keep saying you Puerto Rican. You may be Puerto Rican. I don't believe you because you came on here sideways. You came in sideways. Damn right, Shakat. He is marked. He's marked like Cain. He is marked, definitely. You know, the Lord marked Cain for slaying his brother Abel, and the YT man has the same spirit of Cain. He has that murderous spirit. Oh yeah, let's go to let's get to John chapter 8 and verse 44. Let's go to the book of John, chapter 8 and verse 44. Let's see what's going on with that right there. John chapter 8 and verse 44. Man, this is a new turning. You can feel it. You can feel it, Shakat. You can feel it, Shalat. You can feel it, Sister Kapar. You can feel it, Ashkawar and Jeremiah. You can feel the changing and shift in power in this world. They're running out of time and running out of power. The devil knows he has but a little time. This is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. The word abode means he lived. He lived not in the truth. Yep. Because there is no truth in him. There's no truth in you, Mr. Handel. All right. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. You speaking of you and your people. You speaking of America. You standing on America. You standing on a Christian church, Mr. Handel. You standing on ignorance. You standing on being a stumbling block for the other brothers and sisters to really come into this truth. And for that, the Lord is going to strike you down for real. He's going to strike you. Christ is coming back with a giant sword. And with that sword, he's going to cut your head off. You know what I mean? Because there is no truth in him. Wasn't a piece of truth in him. Talking about when a brother read the Dead Sea Scrolls. Ooh, that was funny. You talk about this book, right? That book right there. Knuckleheads. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and the father of it. All right. So that's what's going on with that, man. That's what's going on with that. So, you know, you seeing a lot of shift changing, a lot of power changing, a lot of lies and deceptions, man. They don't want to come off with the Epstein files because it's a lie. They don't want to come off with the truth. They want to keep a lie going. Trump want to start a war because of the lie that he's trying to cover up. But with every lie, you know, you got to say another lie to make that other lie stand. So you got to say another lie to make that lie stand. Then you got to say another lie to make that lie stand. Then you got to say another lie to make that lie stand. Then you got to have all these damn lies. Well, Christ said you was a liar and abode not in the truth. You are like your father, a murderer. All right? Your father was the spirit of Cain. I'm going to read it again. This is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. You understand? So these things is what you upholding and portraying. You know, the trouble is you can't handle it because the truth has come back into the earth. The truth has come back since 1969 and it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and you're getting your skirt lifted up, Mr. Handle, and all the rest of you out there worshiping these other gods. You and the rest of you out there exploiting my people. The rest of you out there saying that ICE it should be honorable, should be exalted. You exalt ICE and you promote ICE. You promote the deportation of our Hispanic brothers. That's what's gonna happen with you. Because let's see. Let's go to the book of Revelation. Let's go on to the Revelation. All right. Let's see. Let me go. I want to go to 2 and 9. I always go to 2 and 9. Now, this is for America is following Israel. That's a dream. Mr. Handel, you know about Martin Luther King, right? I hope you know about Martin Luther King. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 2 and verse 9. Christ was they were addressing the churches, the 7 churches, right? I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. Who was he talking to? He was talking to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. He knew our poverty. He knew our works, but he knew that we were poor. But he said, but thou art rich. What did he mean by that? All right. He meant we were rich in spirit. I'm trying to read the chat, but there's so much stuff going on that it's nonsense. So anyway, he knew that we are rich in spirit. That's why the Lord said that he knew our poverty, but he knew that we are rich in spirit. Black people are some of the kindest people on the earth that you could ever meet. They will do for you before they do for themselves. They'll do for you before doing it for another so-called black man or black woman. We hurt each other just to do good for the white man. But we have a good spirit in us, and a lot of us now waking up and doing good for each other now. You understand? Because this is our time. This is the time where we're going to rise and rule in this earth. We're going to rule this earth with Christ. Christ is going to be our king. Christ is coming back with the sword. He's going to take down all the strongholds. He's going to tear down Trump. He's going to tear down the Ayatollahs. He's going to tear down the czars. He's going to tear down all these leaders, Putin and anybody else that's ruling this earth. He's going to tear those strongholds down because they're corrupt. That's why we in the thing that we're in today. Stiff-necked people, you're damn right. Because if he Puerto Rican, he's stiff-necked. He don't want to believe nothing. He want to run his mouth. That's why he all in a chat like a woman. Matter of fact, give me a minute, man. Give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. All right. Yeah, that's that spirit of Cain. That's that spirit of Esau. Lies. That's that Pharisee. He a Pharisee. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. So anyway, where was I at? Okay. He said, but thou art rich. So I said rich in spirit. This is Revelation chapter 2 and 9. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews and are not. Who calls themselves Jews in this earth? We don't. Black people don't. We don't. When did you say a black man was a Jew? The only time you heard a black man was a Jew is you heard it from us. Because originally we said we're from Africa. We Egyptian people. You know, we're African people. We led this whole nation back in the land of the tribe of Shabazz. The tribe of Shabazz, like you heard in like you heard in the movie Malcolm X. Well, the research says there is no tribe of Shabazz. Understand? And the book From Babylon to Timbuktu by Rudolph Windsor says that we came from Jerusalem, from Israel, when it was sacked in 70 AD, because that's the time when the transatlantic slave trade took place, and the slaves was a bumper crop of slaves during 70 AD. And they were taken across the Atlantic Ocean and put on the sugar cane and the cotton fields and all of those places and plantations where they served our enemy, the YT man. That's why the Bible says, envy not your oppressor, the YT man, and take on none of his ways. Christmas, Thanksgiving. I bet this guy celebrated Thanksgiving. Did you do Happy New Year's? I bet you did. Did you do did you do Christmas? Did you do New Year's? Did you get your girl them at that chocolate and those hearts on Valentine's Day? I bet you did. You did, didn't you? I know he did. Whether he admitted it or not, he did. All right. It says, who say they are the Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Yeah. The one that bombed Iran, along with America, that's the synagogue of Satan. That's the synagogue of Satan. The Lord said, I will make you a synagogue of Satan. Those are the ones that take the little boys and do a mouth circumcision. You understand? That's like having oral relations with another man. Them rabbis do it. That's their culture. You understand? That's all those things. This guy must be a little girl or something. It must be a little boy or something. Are you of age? Should you even be on the online chat at this time? You understand? This is crazy work. For real, it's a lot. It's crazy work. You say anything that comes to his mouth. Just like a little little 7-year-old, 15-year-old. Say anything come to your mouth. Bah. You ugly. I can't stand you. All that. All right. So that's what it says. He'll make you a synagogue of Satan. You understand? That's what's going on with that. So we need to understand and recognize, man, that these end times we have to be very, 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 very much on our P's and Q's, because these false prophets, these liars, these men who love themselves, these backbiters, these people that spread dissension and disconnect, we got to watch them. We got to keep them away from us, because the Lord said, be holy. You understand? And the word holy means to be separate. I'm separate from you, man. You don't got facts. You got trash. And you got that trash out your you know what. That's where that trash originated from. That's where it came from, up in them Caucasus Mountains. I bet you he's probably a white T. He a devil. He got to be a devil. He's got to be a white T devil. Got to be. Definitely, Shakat. Man, it's just amazing. But don't you brothers and sisters in the school feel way better and feel a little more relieved about what's going on, man. They scrambling for everything. They not holding nothing back. They scrambling for everything. They gotta attack us and attack us and attack us and try to think that we don't have the facts. Man, he just got like, if my wife is here, my wife would have said he got molded when I pulled out the Dead Sea Scrolls book on him. He got molded. You understand? You know what I'm saying? Shalat, right there, man. The Lord don't play, man. The Lord is not playing. The Lord is, his eyes is upon the heathen, man. His eyes are upon the wicked. He searches the heart. He tries the reins of men. He tries us. You understand? That's why you and I, as UPK officers, speaker officers, troopers, sisters, you got to be on your P's and Q's and be ready for these folks. And be ready. Because as you learn, you're going to enjoy it. Because you're going to know where you stand and you're going to know where they stand. You're going to definitely know where they stand. You understand? He come up and ain't cover no facts, no nothing. So it's a glorious time for our people. It's a glorious time for the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, man. This is a great time for us. It's time for us to really pull it together now. It's really a time for unity, to unite with our Hispanic brothers, to unite with our so-called Native Indian brothers. If you're a Black man or Black woman, understand, it's that time. Because they, as much as they hate us, they want to be just like us. They went and took, they will be so much like us, they took on rap. They took on R&B music with your Elvis Presley took on, was it jazz or something? I mean, the blues. He took on some type of the music that we created. Did you know we created classic music too? Classical music. You understand? And then from what I understand, the Beethoven was a Black man, from what I understand. All right. Now I could be wrong in that, but I believe he was. I can almost stand on that one. But no, we created that, man. We are a people who needs to come back to the Lord. We are the people that need to follow his law, statutes, and commandments. Get that white tea man back his pork. Give him his shrimp. Give him his crab and lobsters. You understand? Give him his white tea woman. That dog. Give him back his dogs. You understand? Stay away from them, man. Stay away from them. You understand? Keep your heart out of America. They don't belong here anyway. They came here as immigrants. So they can't tell nobody where to go. Because they know where they can go. Understand? They know where they can go. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know, he right on one thing. There's one thing he right on, I see. King James was Black. Yeah, we know that one anyway. So we done did classes on that. Moving right along. Let's look into these times of what we should be doing. We should be prepared for the unexpected. Because with these people in office like that, the grid already went out in Cuba. The grid went out. You understand? They're in total darkness. You understand? The Lord is visiting our people because Cubans are our brothers. They're part of the 12 tribes of Israel. You understand? Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Blacks, Hispanic, the Choctaw, the Apache, the Seminole, the Kiowa, and all of the Native Indians in California. Those are our brothers and sisters of the tribe of Gad. You understand? So we have to really get in with the law, statutes, and commandments with this truth and start staying away from these folks that are trying to harm us, from these folks that are lying to us, and recognize the lie and recognize the spirit. Even when you're amongst them, it don't matter. But we need to separate our minds and spirit out of America, man. Because America's about to burn in 1,000 degrees, man. Because of the lies that you see in the chat and because of the lies that you see on the earth. You understand? That's why America is going to burn and has to burn. That's why you have that infight. They find out they having relations with children. They taking little girls and raping them. You know, they taking little boys and raping them. You know, they going away to those Caribbean countries and then them African countries and getting them little boys and having relations with them. You understand? But those are the ones that's leading this country. Those are the ones that's leading this country. So it's about time that we separate ourselves. It's about time that we recognize who it is, because the earth is recognizing who it is, and they can't pull it. Once it's thrown out there, you can't pull it back. Once you threw it out there, you can't pull that back. You understand? You can't unsay what you said. You know, you may think you fooling somebody, but you're fooling yourself, because usually a liar fools themselves. There's a term for that too. What do they call that? When the liar believes his own damn lie. You understand? His own lie. But you know what is that? You know, they used to be, and I used to know that name, but it kind of escapes my mind right now. I'm up in this class. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go over here to Isaiah 14 and verse 21. You see, this is gonna happen to them folks up in there doing all these things that you seeing what's taking place in the earth right now. This is what the Lord is saying to you. You're going to go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 14 and verse 21. Prepare slaughter for his children. Prepare slaughter for your children. YT, man. For the iniquities is the sins. For the iniquities of their fathers. They do not rise nor possess the land. The Lord don't want you to rise or possess the land anymore. My prayers brings Armageddon. My prayers bring Armageddon. My prayers bring the captivity of the whitey man. You might be my slave, you understand, in the kingdom of God. My prayers bring slaves into the kingdom of God to serve the children of Israel, because I'm the son of Israel and my people are as well. My prayers bring Armageddon. My prayers bring World War III. That's what my prayers bring. That's what it do. My prayers make the earth tremble, because the Lord does it for me. He becomes my buckler and my shield. That's what my prayers do. My prayers protect my people. My prayers make my people go to Passover. Ooh, we'll get that lamb and that bitter herb and that wine and that unleavened bread and that lamb, all of that. And the fellowship, the brotherhood that you never have, that you will never have. My prayers bring brotherhood amongst my people. I can go on, but that's too long. All right. Prepare slaughter. This is Isaiah 14:21. Prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers, for the sins of their fathers. Because your father was a slave master, wasn't he? Your father was a slave master. Didn't he sell slaves? Didn't he have slaves do things for him? Your father was a racist. Your father upheld and created the Jim Crow laws. Your father created the pig laws. You understand? If you even know what the pig laws were. You understand? Y'all look at some of my old videos, you'll see I did classes on the pig laws. All right? For the iniquities of their father, that they do not rise. Y'all will not rise again, nor possess the land. You will not have no more land anymore, nor fill the face of the world with cities. It won't be your cities no more. The Bible speaks of the golden cities. See, this is what happens with this unity of our leadership. The golden city is going to be destroyed, and the merchants are going to be crying, oh, the city is destroyed. And you know what a merchant is? A seller. A merchant is a businessman. You understand? The merchants of the earth are going to be crying when they see New York burning down, when they see the Statue of Liberty fall in the ocean and crumble into the ocean, when they see all of that. Yeah, Chicago. That's right. Let him have it, because he need to have it. He need to have it, like yesterday's news. All right. So the merchants are going to cry when they see the great city has fallen. Babylon was destroyed in less than an hour. In an hour. Total destruction. Woe on the Babylon. Where is it at? Because that's America's real name. It's Babylon. It's confusion. They're all confused. They're confused about this war, ain't they? All right. They are definitely confused about this here war. And it is getting ready to really heighten up there. It's really gonna be tight around that bottleneck called the Hormuz, or whatever they call it, the Gulf of Hormuz. All right. Where they trade all that oil, all that traffic comes, them ships come back and forth, bringing oil to the world. That's where the fight is. That's where the fight's going to be. And it's all going to land in Jehoshaphat, in the valley of decision. All the kings of the earth are going to gather there. Understand? And that's where the Lord is going to hold judgment. That's where judgment is going to be held. All right? The Lord is going to plead for our people. He's going to plead for Judah. He's going to plead for Israel with the nations of their leaders and heads and armies of this earth. And he's not going to plead with them like that. He's going to plead with them with the sword. He's going to take your head off. I'm pleading with you that way. I ain't pleading. The Lord don't plead with you like man be begging, can you please give me something? No, the Lord is going to take your life. He's going to unalive our oppressors. He's going to fight for Jerusalem. That's where my prayers go. That's what my prayers do. All right. So let me see if I can get this here, which I know I'm going to go ahead and go to it. You know, that's what America is. America is ancient Egypt. America is Sodom and Gomorrah, LGBTQYZ. All right. We're going to go to Psalms 137 and verse 8. The book of Psalms, chapter 137 and verse 8. All right. O daughter of Babylon. America is the daughter of Babylon. Babylon was here before when King Nebuchadnezzar was in charge. All right. And that was over there, in Iran or Iraq? One of them, I think it was Iraq. All right. It says, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. That's where my prayers go, for America to be destroyed. That's what I want, because that's what the Lord wants. This is him talking now, and not you, Handel. Shut up. All right. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. You served us with slavery. You served us with taking the culture from the native Indian and changing his language and cutting his hair and taking his land and lying and breaking his treaties and raping his children and destroying and unaliving his children on the stones and on the trees. And the alligator bait that you did with the black man's woman with her children. You used the children as alligator bait back there in Florida. That's why I pray for what I pray for. The Lord said, remember, I'm going to go to verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom. Edom is Esau, YT man. All right. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom, in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. When they said raise it, what were they doing? They were saying burn it, burn it, burn it to the foundations. They wanted Jerusalem to be burnt to the foundations, my people. So I have no love for y'all. I have no love for y'all. I have love for the brothers in the penitentiaries. I have love for the sisters that are even having abortions. I have love for the sisters that are twerking on them stages. I wish they come down and cover themselves up and not unalive their own children in some Planned Parenthood. My love is for them. That's where my prayers go to. Oh, Babylon that ought to be destroyed. The children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. Verse 8, O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewardeth thee as thou hast served us. Verse 9, happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones. There's where my prayers go. I mean, it don't take a rocket scientist to realize that we've been depressed. We've been oppressed. We've been depressed. We've been afflicted. We've been destroyed and unalived by you. It's no rocket scientist to figure it out, but you want us to forget it. But you don't want to forget 9/11, and you damn sure don't want to forget when Hitler put your small hat people into them furnaces, into them ovens. Y'all don't want to forget that. Y'all have a conniption. I'm gonna use a YT term. Y'all have a conniption if we forget about y'all. But we gonna forget. But we're not gonna forget about us. We will not forget about slavery. We will not forget about the Trail of Tears. We will not forgive about the brothers that were persecuted, that were wearing the Zook suits. We will not forgive the brothers that shed their blood in Vietnam and were still told to go home, that this was not our fight, because it wasn't our fight. Our fight was right here in America during the Civil Rights Movement. Our fight was right here on the shores of Africa when you put us in chains. Okay? This is why you have all this confusion going on now. This is why you have these governments going at each other. They're going at it. It most likely be another civil war. These wars are going to burn over. They're going to get bigger and bigger, like a bonfire, the hatred on this planet, until Christ comes, because he's going to be angry and he's going to destroy you while you fight each other. You're going to turn and try to fight Christ, and you're going to try to fight us. And we're going to be with Christ. We are Christ's army. And we're going to be the ones unaliving you for the sake of Israel. When you get taken down into the valley of decision in Jehoshaphat, understand, which is southern Israel. That's what's going to happen. You know what I mean? And it's going to be a glorious time. It's going to be a time of trouble, yeah. But it's going to be a glorious time after that. Because there won't be no confusion and no murders and no lies and no pedophiles and no rapists and no damn Democrats and Republicans on this planet anymore. Your government is over. Your government will be unalived. All right? Thus saith the Lord, not Officer Shadrach. The Lord said that. Your government will be unalived. That's why he's sending his son. And he's going to come with the quickness. With the quickness, he's going to unalive you. And let me give you the results of that. That's the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. I think chapter 12. Let me go to the Wisdom of Solomon. Let's go to the wisdom. Solomon was the wisest man in the earth. All right. Go to the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 12, and verse 5. Let's see. I'm gonna go to 5, but I'm gonna read this one anyway. And also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh. That's Epstein. Those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh. You eat man's flesh. There's a book called The Delectable Negro. The Delectable Negro. Our General Yohana, had a brother or sister at the school send him that book, because that book is true about how they used to eat us. Not only did they lynch us and burn us at the stake and burn us and hang us on the crosses and hang us from the trees, they ate us as well. That's why they were fighting over the fingertip parts and our genitals and all those things, man. They saw us as food. You understand? And they see us now, they see us as ignorant folks who don't know what they're doing and people that they need to exploit for money and land and property, all these things. You understand? That's why they will never rule again. That's why the book of Isaiah says, prepare slaughter for his children, for the iniquities of their fathers. The sins of your fathers, your sins will surely find you out. That is exactly what is going to happen to the white tea man, to the leaders of this earth, to all of them. Because y'all all had a part in our destruction. All of y'all had a part in our destruction. When you come to America, they say don't talk and don't deal with the black man. Don't trust the black man. They say all of that. Man, it's about time. And also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh and the feasts of blood. You know, they have rituals. Y'all have rituals up there in DC when y'all have those fraternities and everything. And the Rosicrucians, the Rosy Cross, that's what that means. That's a secret society like the Illuminati and the Masons. Y'all have blood rituals in Hollywood. That's why this book says, that's why the Bible is one of the most intelligent books that were ever written. The most intelligent book, and is still going in 2026. It's still making sense in 2026. All right. We'll read it one more time, man, because this is excellent. This is excellent information about our oppressor and his characteristics and the way that he is. All right. And also those merciless murderers of children and devourers of man's flesh and the feasts of blood. I mean, blood rituals. When I did my lecture, I did my lecture on the blood rituals of the Rosicrucians, the blood rituals of the Illuminatis, and of those rabbis, and of those Masons, and all those secret societies. See, they got to hold their stuff as secret. You don't see damn brother up in our school wearing no mask all the time on purpose all the time, so you can't see us. You see me clear. You can see who I am. All right? You see who I am and what I'm about. I don't need no damn mask. You know, Lord say, fear not. You ready to give your life? We're ready to give ours for the truth, for righteousness, and to stop this murder, stop these pedophiles and these LGBTQs in this government and all of the lies and the sins that they commit. All right. All right. So I'm gonna go to let me see where I started out. Where I wanted to bring in the first place. Okay, that's the wisdom sign. 5. All right, so now we in the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 1. The Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5 and verse 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness. You're going to be bold. The righteous man. will stand in boldness. That's Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, because we finally gonna get our due. We're gonna get what we need, and you gonna get your just deserts. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such that have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. See, you didn't know I was studying over here. You didn't know that we studied since 1969. You didn't know that the Lord bring this truth back into the earth and taught the prophets who speak boldly on the street corners in the camps from every state in this nation and outside this nation, in Puerto Rico, in the United Kingdom, Mexico, all right, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Puerto Rico. We teach. We got schools in all these countries and in these states, because the truth, it's about to wind down. The truth is being set to the four corners of the earth. And that's when it's the end of the world, of your world as you know it, your white picket fence. It's going to be the end of that. Your 401k. All right? And made no account of his labors. Verse 2, when they see it, they shall be troubled with fear. Salaki, troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. You're going to be amazed with the strangeness of our salvation. You're going to be troubled with terrible fear. It's coming, okay? The strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond what they look for. It's going to be far beyond what you look for, what you thought it was going to be. It ain't going to be what you thought it was going to be, all right? And they, that's you, YT man, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he who we had sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach, because you have been reproaching me since I started this class. Oh man, I've been reproached all my life and afflicted all my life. And so have my brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? Now, what is derision? You held us in derision. Let's look it up in the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. What does derision mean? I'm going to say that for the people in the back. We're going to read this for the folks in the back. I'm going to the Merriam-Webster's dictionary, and I'm going to look up, first, I'm going to look up derision, because you held us in derision. All right? So during our salvation, you're going to realize who you was holding in derision. All right? You laughing and mocking, man. This is just like the time of the flood, when Noah was making that giant boat, that giant ship on dry land, and everybody was laughing. But when they're laughing until them waters rose and the doors were shut. Okay, I might have spelled Jerry. Okay, let's see. Yeah. There it is. There it is. Definition out the Merriam-Webster derision, held in ridicule, because you're ridiculing me now, right? You're giving me ridicule now. It means the use of ridicule and scorn, scorning me, scorning my school, scorning General Yohana. Yeah, you held us in derision long enough, buddy boy. That's in my white E voice, buddy boy. And a proverb of reproach. You called us a proverb of reproach. Okay, so what is reproach? We were a proverb of reproach. An expression of rebuke and disapproval. You looked at them with reproach. I know how you're looking at me with reproach. The act and action of reproaching or disapproving. Yeah, this is what's going to happen to you in our day, the true day of judgment. That's right. Far beyond all they look for, and repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit, and say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes in division, and a reproach, a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness. You're accounting my life madness right now. You're wondering why I'm reading this. You're wondering why I got this on. You're wondering why I'm saying what I'm saying. Uh-huh. All right. And his end without honor. You think my end will be without honor? Verse 5. For those who just came on, the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 5. How is he numbered among the children of God, and his lot amongst the saints? Verse 6. Therefore have we erred from a way of truth, and a light of righteousness have not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. That's you, whitey man. Verse 7, we wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yea, we have gone through the deserts. Yeah, because y'all over there in Iran right now, huh? Y'all was in what, Desert Storm? Okay. Where there lay no way, but as for the way of the Lord, we have not known it. You have not known the way of the Lord. You don't know this book. You don't even know that book I just picked up. I just showed you that I have while you was running your mouth. While you was running your mouth, you don't even know this book. The Dead Sea Scrolls. That's what this book is. You thought I didn't have it? You think? You don't know this book. More importantly, the Bible. You don't know the Bible. You don't know the Bible. I mean, we have not known them. Okay? We have not known it. Verse 8. What have pride profited us? Didn't I say that Mr. White T man here in the chat was a white T man? He was prideful. I did not call him a prideful bastard or something like that. What have pride profited us? Or what good have riches with our vaunting brought us? You vaunt all the riches in America. Let's look up the word vaunting. What does that mean by vaunting? I'm very familiar with the vaunting, but I'm gonna read it for the crowd. For the people in the back, I'm gonna read it for the people in the back. Vaunting. To make, this is the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. You can get an app on the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. All right. To make a vain display, and vain means useless. A vain display of one's own worth. Okay. To call attention pridefully and often boastfully. All right. So what did you do with the vaunting? Let's go back to verse 8. What have pride profited us? Or what good have riches? Oh, so you was vaunting your riches. Oh, that's what you was doing in Harvard. That's what you was doing in Yale. That's what you was doing in Beverly Hills. That we couldn't go up in there unless we get arrested by the police because we was the wrong people in your neighborhoods. You know what I mean? There it is. There it is. Francis de la Cruz, excuse me for saying your name wrong. I appreciate that. I'm going to say it in Hebrew to you. Thawada. That means thank you. That's the ancient Hebrew. Hebrew, the Bible's words, the Lord's words. And Thawada, and unto you too. Barakatha. Blessings to you. Okay. And it says the vaunting of our riches. Okay. And we know that because we can't even turn our corner with some white T man gonna come up and say, well, how much land he got in front of us and our girl. So our girl can hear it to try to shame us and tell us what he got. Oh, I got land. I got a boat. I'm tired of I got all this and I got all that. Like saying, what do you have? in front of her. I know what you're saying, because you're trying to put me down, that I don't have anything. That's all right, because the book of Revelation says the Lord knows my poverty. He knows my poverty and my suffering and my affliction. He said, but I am rich. I'm rich in spirit, my brother. My people are rich in spirit. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are rich in spirit. The Lord is overturning this place. This place is going to be overturned. The Lord is coming. Christ is coming. Yahushua in the Hebrew. Christ is coming very soon. All right. Let me go back to this. Let me get where I was at. I was at verse 8, right? What have pride profited us? Or what good have riches with our vaunting brought us? Verse 9, all those things are passed away like a shadow. All your riches and all the things that you had, your pride is passed away like a shadow, like a ship in the sea. Passed away. All right? Means nothing. It's vain. All right? All things are passed away. All those things are passed away like a shadow and a post that hasteth by. Verse 10, as a ship passeth over the waves of the water. Okay? Who don't know the Bible? All right? Which then it is gone by. The trace thereof cannot be found, neither the path of the keel in the waves. Verse 11, or as when a bird hath flown through the air, there is no token of her way to be found, but the light air being beaten with the stroke of her wings, and parteth with the violent noise and motion of them, is passed through, and therein after no sign where she went. There's no sign. It's like when you see a hummingbird go up, boop, pew, that hummingbird is gone. All right. And just like any other bird. All right. And therein afterwards, no sign where she went is to be found. Or like when an arrow is shot at a mark, it parteth the air, which immediately cometh together again, so that a man cannot know where it went through. Verse 13, even so we in like manner, as soon as we were born, began to draw to our end, and had no sign of virtue to show, but were consumed in our own wickedness. Exactly right. Our oppressor is like this. You understand? The Lord said Israel will be world without end. Will be world without end. But the white T man is going to be like that arrow. When the air goes past that arrow, that air breaks and it comes back together. The air come right back together. You know what I mean? It's going to be as if you would never hear. We're going to look at you in a museum somewhere with our kids, and they're going to say, who is that, Dad? I'm going to say, that was the man that ruled the earth at one point. Where is he? Look, a funny-looking guy. Little thin, funny-looking, ugly dude. Ugly man. Mr. Ugly Man. Gone. A museum art. You'll be an artifact. A fossil. Okay? Dead, like the kings of Egypt. Dead. You know? That'll be it. So in this time and in this place, man, we need to learn, man, that we have to separate from our oppressor. We have to get away from him. We have to join and build up this unity. Build up your brothers and sisters. Make your brothers and sisters strong, man, in spirit. If you can make them happy for a certain time period, do that. Help them. Bring them together. We need to come together, okay? Because this kingdom is falling apart before your very eyes. You know what I mean? Before your very eyes. It will get worse and worse and worse until it's no more. The YT man will be no more, man. It won't be no more preservatives in your food. Eggs will taste like eggs again. Milk will taste like milk again. Honey will be like honey again. Food will be like food again. And if you drop it on the floor, all the insects will get at it like it's supposed to be. They won't look at it and be like, what the hell is that? You drop that stuff, a McDonald's hamburger can live for what, 9 years? All right. So we ought to come together. Okay. I'm gonna go for my last piece here. I'm gonna go to the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. Wait, but before I go to Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1, I'm going to go to Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. Okay. This is the book of Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Like the knucklehead in that chat and all these other folks out here. The folks that we have to defend ourselves in camp. The people who come on these lines talking about they know the Bible and try to teach you something that don't know anything and don't know true research and don't do anything to study to show thyself approved, yet want to tell everybody what they should do. You know what I mean? The Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge under the Commanding General Yohana follows the Bible to the letter. We keep the law, statutes, and commandments of God. We do not sin. You understand? Christian church will tell you that you sin every time, and that's not true. Okay? And this is Zechariah chapter 14 and verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord shall smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. And their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Nuclear destruction, thermonuclear destruction is coming to America. All right? See that you coming to the ISUPK, man. Get it here. Come to these classes long enough so you get a Hebrew name. Become a trooper or officer in the school. Give back what the Lord gave you. Give to your brothers and sisters. Become that new man. Throw that old man into throw him into the grave. That old man need to be unalived, and a new man need to be you. You need to be that new man. Not no OG, no gangbanger, not no pedophile, no LGBTQZYT, none of that. Not no rapist, not no liar, not no Democrat, not no Republican. Be of the Most High's work, man. Do God's work, man. Okay? And with this, I'm going to go to my last one's going to be the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, verse 1. This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yea, gather together, O nation, not desired. Gather yourselves together, O nation, not desired. They don't desire blacks. They call us monkeys and the N-word and all of that. The Hispanics, they call you that name, right? The border people, the boat or whatever. Native Indian. Yeah, they call you the red man or whatever, and savages and all of that. We're the nation not desired in the Bible. We're that nation that's not desired. God says, gather yourselves together, man. Help them brothers and sisters that are being deported. Help them brothers and sisters that got slave ancestry. Help them. Gather together with them. Let's gather ourselves together in the ghetto, in the barrio, in the reservations. And let World War III be World War III. Let it be. That's their fight. That is not your fight, black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. That is not your fight. You just live in this land. Take your heart out of America. You ain't got to go nowhere. Stay here and keep God's laws, statutes, and commandments. Understand? And with that, I'm going to say shalom.